One. Good morning. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the divine masculine and divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see our circumstances change, if we want to see the readings that pop up on TikTok change every day, we actually have to shift and change the energy within ourselves. And hopefully my readings help you do this. Just to reiterate for those of you that might have forgotten, or to tell new people who are arriving here today, when I read this energy, I am not reading the energy of a physical divine masculine being walking around on the planet and a physical divine feminine being walking around the planet. Those beings aren't beings. Those that what I'm reading for is energies that are inside of ourselves. We are both those things. So if you're claiming to be a divine feminine right now, stop doing that. You are a person with divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy within you. Claim to be anthropos. If you want to claim to be something divine, claim to be anthropos, because that's what you are. You are divine and human. So you have to own that humanity part of you. Otherwise, you're just a god or an angel or something. And maybe you are, whatever. But as most of us are likely people, and the people we focus on are definitely just people. They are not a divine masculine. If they were the divine masculine, they would come and say all the shit. They would do all these things, but they don't. And you're like, why don't they do that? Because the divine masculine is always saying he's going to do that. And it's like, well, that's because the person you're focused on is only partially tuned into that part of themselves. They're also partially tuned out to the feminine part of themselves that would have the ability to express emotion, right? You need the masculine part to express. You need the emotional part from the feminine to express. You need to be open to receive, and then you need to give. So you need to be open in feminine energy, and then you need to give in masculine energy. You need to be in action and waiting for something to happen in feminine energy, and you need to be going and taking action and going after something in masculine energy. That's how it works. So when I get comments that are like, well, this is bullshit and he's a cheater or whatever, I'm always like, okay, well, that's probably true about the person you're focused on. And I didn't read about that person. I read about what's inside of you. So this stuff inside of you is not bullshit. This is your real energy. And the fact that you can't seem to get relationships to work probably suggests that you keep choosing energy that's not very likely reflecting your true energy back to you, but instead reflecting an older self-concept that you either are still perpetuating subconsciously, or you still have it like in your conscious mind. So you have to sort of suss that out and change it. And that's what I hope to help us do today. Let me see these questions here. Do you believe in aliens? 100%. If I'm going to believe in a source, a consciousness, and I'm going to see with my eyes all of the footage of the many galaxies there's absolutely no possible way I'm going to be so blind as to think that there's not any other consciousness in the universe. But yeah, 100% there's aliens. And probably they're just walking around us all the time and we're not even realizing it. And more so, I believe even in interdimensional beings too, beings that can cross dimensions, that don't, like space and time isn't that they need them for them. I believe in that as well. So yes, aliens. And I'm still pretty scared of them too, because I got terrified by them from like the movies and shit when I was a kid. And so I'm super scared of them also. Like, I don't want to see them. Even though I have friends who are like, bring on the aliens. Like, we want to party with them. We want to like get down with some blue aliens. And I'm always like, I will fucking die if I see one alien. Meanwhile, if I see a ghost, I'm like, oh, a ghost. Like, I don't know. It's fine. I'll get over my prejudice at some point. But I was highly indoctrinated to fear them. So I definitely do fear them. Okay. Sidetrack. Aliens conversation. Now you know my true beliefs on aliens, which I'm sure you always wanted to know. Let us do our favorite thing here, which I'm not looking at the cards so I can play along, because this is one of my favorite things to do each day. I love to be proven wrong by the universe every day. It's so fun. No, I get excited when I get it right. I'm like, yes, I know what I want. Okay. What I want you to do right now is imagine something that would make you feel better, and better than you do right now. So maybe you feel great right now, and you're like, well, I feel great. There's nothing in the world that can make me feel better. That's amazing. That's ideal. Maybe there is something, though, you could think of that would make you feel a little bit better than you feel right now. And then if you feel really awful and you know that something small would even make you feel a whole lot better. There's that perspective too. Maybe you feel really terrible, and what would make you really feel better is if just somebody brought you some like fresh baked cookies and one of those Snuggies, and you could just binge watch shows all day. Like, but what is it that you think would make you feel better? Just try to think of it for a moment. And this time I'm going to have you do what I did last time. I want you to kind of get the feeling of it when it happens, of how good it would feel to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're okay. Yeah, like that's what I wanted. That's what I was wanting. And you're kind of into it, and it's exciting. It's fun. It feels good to you. What is that thing that would make you feel better? It's funny, I can't even, like, my brain is like ADD as hell right now. Like, I can't even be like, well, this, I don't even think of one thing. It's like nothing is happening. Maybe I'm perfect and I would feel better. No, I know what would make me feel better. That would make me feel better. Okay, that is what you think that you need. This is what you actually need. God damn it. The Eight of Cups. This card says indolence on it. So some of you might need to just kick back and stop trying so hard. That's something that's popping to mind just from seeing indolence. But the Eight of Cups has a lot of things going on. In its light side, it's about finally realizing something that seemed like it was a full cup is really full of poison, and needing to leave, needing to go away from that thing, move on. Stop trying to turn the poison into something good for you, because you haven't been able to get that to work. You haven't been able to alchemize that. So it's like realizing that and being like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need to do something that speaks to me. I need to do something that is calling to me right now, and I need to go towards that calling. And then when you do that, you're heading towards that balancing of the masculine and feminine energy with himself. This can also be about somebody coming home or returning to you after they have left behind the things that don't serve them. And so some of you might have imagined your person returning to you, and that is something that would make you feel better. That is in alignment with what would make you feel better. For others, it's that you finally walk away from something that is not making you feel good anymore. And you're going to have to suss out exactly where you fall. There is a Pisces energy on this card. And so this is definitely about the emotions. It's interesting because we're also talking about aliens to get the Pisces energy. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into it. These crazy kids both have the same amount of cards showing, but I'm going to use the masculine side first because he had a bit of overthinking, so technically he has one extra card showing. That's how we're going to do it today. Okay, so the way that I do this reading is I flip over all of the cards for the headspace that I'm focused on, which in this case is the intellect, the masculine side of self, the headspace, the action side of self, the giving side, the thinking side of self, whatever. So I'm going to read that first, and then after I finish the headspace and the heart space for that side, I will switch over to do the feminine side of self. And so that feminine side is still within your person. Please do not forget that. So if you can only see the beginning part and you want to watch the rest of this video, go follow me, subscribe to my Tuned In Tarot YouTube, and you will see this video. It is streaming there right now, actually, so you can go all the way back to the beginning if you missed the card that says, like, what would actually make me feel better? You can go back and see that. But you can see that later today if you don't have a chance to see it. But if you do not see the emotional feeling side of your person's self, you're missing an entire side of your person, which might be why there's not alignment, because maybe you're not as in tune with that side of your person's self as you are with the side of self that you are less in tune with of your own. So keep that in mind. Okay, so what is overall on this masculine energies headspace? The Queen of Swords. He definitely feels the divine feminine energy is in her Queen of Swords energy. But this is a light trait because it's upright. I don't feel shadow coming from it. So he's actually not seeing the feminine as being defensive or, you know, turning him away or cutting him down, any of that today. What he's really thinking is that this feminine is smart, very smart, very, very smart, very much. He values her intellect. He values her cleverness, her wit, that she really can see clearly that she has a clear understanding of the assignment. She definitely can convey that too. She can communicate it. She's an excellent communicator. He wants to be like that. He's thinking like, if she can do this, then I can do this. I should be able to do this, shouldn't we? If we're the same energy, then I should be able to do that. And in particular, I think with emotion, she understands her feelings. She understands emotions and the purpose that they serve. This is the card of revelation where you finally understand that your emotions are the gauge that tells you how close or far away to the thing you're thinking you desire. And it's this part of self that he's fully embracing now. My emotions are extremely important. I need to understand them and have clarity about them, just like this divine feminine energy has. So feminine as one smart cookie on his mind. Underlying all his thoughts and decisions is the Six of Wands, the card of victory, bringing success, coming in with a peace offering to the feminine, having been in the Five of Wands and struggling against each other, and then finally just coming in and being like, hey, can we sort this out? I brought you I brought you a wand, you know. It's like not like the Page of Cups. It's like I brought you a fish. This is like I brought you a wand. Like it's a big wand too, you know. It's my crowning glory, so it's here if you want to work it out with me. It's probably one of the best ways to work things out, if you ask me, as the masculine energy. And I'm speaking for myself in that regard. Best way to work things out with me. You want to work things out with me? Let's work things out that way. It's gonna go well. Anyway, so, but yeah, there is that. I feel like the masculine is thinking he is going to be successful, that he's going to be able to bring peace, that this divine feminine, because she is so smart, sees so clearly, and is so understanding of emotions, is going to understand what he has to say when he talks about his feelings. So he's like, okay, what could possibly go wrong? This is gonna be great. Like, so he's kind of like working himself up. Like, this is gonna go, it's gonna be great. Like, what I was worried, like, what does I think was gonna happen? Like, this is gonna be the best case scenario. She's gonna want my wand. Like, I don't even have to worry about anything else. The first thing on his mind is his wand. That's the devil energy. But what was really funny is that this came on when I was shuffling. If you were here for the whole shuffle, you saw the song that came on was Evil Hearted You. And the first words in it, it was a Pixie song, were like Corazon de Diablo or something. Forgive my horrible pronunciation of Spanish. I don't know why I can't pronounce Spanish. I can do French pretty okay. I can do German even pretty okay. Italian, I'm Italian and my Italian pronunciation is kind of shitty too. I don't know if I just rejected it. My past life is like, no, we're never speaking that language again. I have no idea, but like, I'm sorry about it. But anyway, this absolutely has been on. This is in the past placement, and we're going to get to the clarifying card in just a second. You're going to understand it even more, but just know that there is an evil-hearted fucking person on this divine masculine's mind. It is not the feminine, but that's somebody that really came between them. And this can also be an addiction. This can be like being a workaholic and constantly focused on work or career, the material, his ego, whatever it was. But this isn't some evil, toxic shit. And if the theme for today is what would make us happy is to walk away from evil, toxic shit, then this is it. This is the stuff in the cups that this masculine energy is ashamed of, that he is frightened of, honestly. And yeah, there's also sexual energy coming from that card, but it is not in a negative way. But I mean, it it did function that way, but there is just in general, he's dealing with desire, like sexual desire, which he's bringing with him is that wand we already heard about. Okay. So what is happening in the current energy then? This is what he's thinking about in the current energy. Divine Feminine, okay, she has received a bunch of small gestures from me. This is the Page of Pentacles. And I don't think she's been all that impressed with them. This doesn't look like delight. There are some Page of Pentacles where there's like a child with a pentacle and they're like, yeah. And this feminine is like, I mean, this is this is all you brought me. So there is a feeling on the thoughts in the divine masculine's mind that, you know, what he's bringing to this feminine might not be much, and he doesn't know if she's gonna have to kind of sit there and think about it, because it's not exactly the big plan, the big event, the big financial splendor thing that he imagined for her. But I don't think she was even thinking about that. So what comes from this feeling of the divine feminine taking a good hard look at what he's got to offer is this desire to be working really hard. Like, yeah, I want to work really hard on whatever that is, because when she does see it, I want her to know that, like, look, this might be small, but this is a really big deal for me. I worked really hard on this. Like, I don't know why, but what popped into my mind about my person is if they were like, I went to therapy. If they called me and they were like, and it wasn't like, hey, listen, I wanted to talk to you about our relationship. I just think that, like, you know, I'm ready to start being with you and all this kind of shit. If he called and was like, yo, I went to therapy, I would be like, oh my God, you're working so hard. Because you are prioritizing your feelings, you're prioritizing your mental health so that you can make decisions that come from a healthy place. Like, that to me would be a huge gesture, and it's not even that big of